Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the next episode of World War III. I believe we are on episode 32 or 33, around there by now. And today's episode is going to be a big one. This war, I know it's been going on for a long time, and you might be bored of it, but I think there might, the Cold War will either in this episode or the next. So, just keep that in mind. Then there's going to be a whole episode just for the peace treaty. Today, we're going to start off, and we're going to go ahead and start off up here. Turn on major cities, and the province, we don't need province map. And we're going to go ahead and start off with this. As you remember, up here, it isn't going too well for a lot of these guys. But the USA just signed a pact with the blue team and the Siberian team to not fight each other. So, instead of fighting each other right here, they're going to be fighting each other in Canada and basically having a proxy war. Oh, one-sided proxy war, I guess. And the effect is going to be immediate. All the troops are being diverted up to here, which at the beginning is going to help. It's going to help Canada, and they're going to be able to defend. It's a little laggy, but they're going to be able to defend a good amount. And they're going to be able to push back a bit until a lot of these blue troops get here. And there's like a brick wall, basically, that's been made. Then there is a big push to cut them off from the country. And it's very large. This is one of the largest invasions with troops. There's probably about 1 million troops on this little invasion thing. And it goes extremely well. All of it is captured right here. And now that it's cut off, it's going to be a little bit harder to supply these troops up here. Of course, you can go through the Hudson Bay, like this. Or maybe even going through cities that probably aren't here in real life and go that way. Maybe this way. The new route probably looks like this, going this way to get up to there. But this is basically just going to make this part harder to get through. There's going to be a ton more troops flooding onto the front lines until a little bit of the troops are being shipped over across that route I just described. So the effect is not immediate, but it will slowly happen until it looks something like this. Back down to here, the Lime team is trying whatever they can to get through. And they have decided that they're going to go, and they have devised a plan. They're going to go up this way, take the capital from the backside, surround a ton of troops right here, eventually causing them to surrender. Then they're going to keep going up until they get to this part. And the 1 million troops are still here, but they're getting pressured on by both sides until they're going to have to start leaving. And there's a little spot right here that has been saved, but a lot of more troops are starting to head back up, and it's forced upon once again. This time not as strong though, and the USA's troops are slowly running out. Of course, they're doing stuff down in the Caribbean as well, so it's going to be kind of hard because they can't funnel all of their troops up to Canada. But Alaska and I guess Washington, or we could just call it the, I really don't know what this would call this. I need to touch up on my British Columbia. We'll call this British Columbia for now. And I guess technically the green team would be like Minnesota or something. But, when we look back at this, British Columbia, they don't have the best population. Their capital is in mainland, so they don't really get all the money that would need. And they're going to slowly push up a bit. But the population and the military is pretty much outmatched up here. Meanwhile, a major breakthrough has been discovered by Alaska, and troops start flooding in, leading to the taking of all this land up here, as well as that major city right there. But that was because of a major influx of troops being sent down here to deal with this spearhead. And it's pretty much all gone. And it's going so well that America has sent some troops in from here, but it's been described as not their troops, so they can't really do anything about it. And it goes like this, and so now the tides have kind of turned, sorta. This war over here is probably going to be going on for a little while. Then we see the involvement of the science team. They're not really on the main part of this war, so they have decided that why not just invade into their islands up here. That sounds like a good idea to me. So they send their troops in. There's no one here. They're all on the front lines. They're not defending this. Once you get down to here, though, there's a little bit more troops. There are some troops that were like guarding this area. So it gets a little bit harder over here. But meanwhile, everywhere else is taken. They did not stand a chance. And that's okay. Kind of. Sorta. This is gonna cost a lot of money. And a lot of troops that have to move back up here. Eventually, though, all this right here is taken back. So all the land on mainland Canada pretty much taken back, besides for up here, of course. And they're going to take some of these islands back, and of course this major city over here, because they still had troops going this way, so they're able to take back some of these surrounding areas. And it goes like this probably. They didn't send very many troops up here because they thought no one was up here. But they don't want to. Canada does not want to lose land in this, especially to the fascists. So eventually, they're even gonna kick them out of over here as well. And it'll probably go like this until a landing is made over here. And it's going to stop, kind of, as this area has more of the troops. It is very cold up here. And not a lot of fighting can be done. So, it's going to be pretty stalemated in the time coming. It is pretty much turned to winter time. So, a lot of these northern fronts aren't going to be doing very much. And they made, America and British Columbia end the peace agreement. It said until winter, which was described as, let's say, November 31st, or no, we'll say October, the last day of October, the 31st, Halloween. And since that treaty has ended, they can now fight on this drum line. America, knowing this, have already had troops stationed there. They immediately push in, about to take one of these major cities. And they keep going through, but not a lot of stuff has been made. And there's pretty much a brick wall here. And now we're going to be taking a look at down here in the Caribbean and Central America. As we all know, Central America has been attacked, when, first of all, just Central America, they're fighting Mexico, as well as Cuba is fighting Mexico, and Puerto Rico. the USA is also involved because they attacked the two Floridas down here to get access to the coast. But now it's going to take a turn for the worse for some of these countries, as USA ships have just landed at the northern coast of Mexico, liberating some of the Yucatan Peninsula and taking back this whole side over here. This is very bad, and eventually they're trapped into this major city with the help of all these troops. Mexico can now focus on down here, and this is all occurring while the war up here has been going on. So, right when the peace treaty was signed, where the USA can't go into here, they started. This is when this is all happening. So, it's not doing very good for communism and fascism. The USA, they're doing okay. They're holding up okay on the inside. They're getting a lot of support, and eventually, they will get an enemy, I guess, technically. It's like a third party, but it's the Lime Team being the third party. They're going to attack Mexico, wanting some of this land for themselves. There's not many people up here to stop them. Of course, they are like the civilians, but there's no army. So they're not going to do us good, but they will slow them down. And this is very brutal. And this country is part of the UN, or the AN. And, well, it says they're not, so, but basically, they are a part of it. So, they are not allowed to kill civilians. So, basically, the AN is at war with them. Now, that's how the AN works. If they're part of the AN and they fail to comply with, in this kind of situation that the world's going through right now, that's just how it works. And basically, the whole country is just taken over instantly. Boom. And now with that destruction out of the way, they can focus back up on down here. And it hasn't been going as well. This major city has been captured. And they're going to try to cut it off as well as taking this major city into progress. And they're slowly getting there. And they have decided that they're going to meet up right around here. Eventually what happens as we see something like this. And it ends up looking like this, with all those American troops that came from Florida down over to here. They're kind of trapped there. There are a lot of Mexican troops that are trapped here as well. And it's been officially cut off. And it's pretty much going to look like this. Boom. Mexico. Now, since that distraction is gone, they're going to be able to push back just a little bit. But they did lose a lot of their military in that little part of the conflict, I guess. I forgot the name, but it goes like this. And they're going to continue up this way. And they're going to eventually get stopped about here. And this is going to go on for a little bit more until the USA is going to try to liberate. They're going to try to liberate the. They're going to liberate the Puerto Ricans, but instead they're in the Bahamas now. So there wasn't anybody fighting in the Bahamas. There was a little bit of troops stationed here, but it's not enough to do anything. As eventually they make it into Hispaniola and take a lot of this side. Eventually Puerto Rico and all these islands down here are taken back. And Now, eventually though, they are going to fight back just a little bit and take back a few of these islands in the Bahamas, but they're not going to be able to do much. They're not really focused on this part currently. They're mostly focused down here, and their efforts are paying off. We'll go ahead and do that. They probably take about that much more land back. And now it's winter, and it's a little bit warmer, but there's still going to be a little bit of fighting left. And it basically comes down to a victory, a very close victory, in rebel casualties on both sides. But Central Americans winning one of those battles, and another one right over here. Whereas Mexico wins one up here, actually gains them a lot of this land. In the center, which they're going to use for a plan later. Now it's time to head down south. And in South America, we can see 2 people joining the war. There are only 5 people that are not really in this war, technically. Or no, 4. And if you haven't guessed, it's going to be these 2 southern countries. But where are they going to be going? Well, we can see that one of them joins the Star Team, and we could probably tell by the ideology. This one is communism. So, they're going to be joining the Star Alliance, which is going to make some people very mad in the country of Argentina. So they're going to join this war on the side of the Star Team. So this is a big war, and it basically goes like it goes like this, where they join there, and they join there. So basically, how the front lines work is there's a front line here, one there, and then over here there's a front line. It looks right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. All this area right here, on all that area, as well as this. And if you can't see, there's a point where they all 3 of the sides meet, kind of. Or not all 3 of them, but yeah, this is the war. It looks like this. I think this is how it goes. I'm not sure anymore. Anyway, they're gonna keep going in. Oh, and then that technically there's also like this here. They're gonna peace out with Argentina pretty quick. They signed they're not gonna go to war with them, pact basically, and they're just gonna help Brazil, which makes Brazil kind of mad. But they do work effectively, as Uruguay getting taken over from the south now, and even liberating some of the team of Brazil right here. And they're going to launch an invasion, and it goes pretty well. A lot of this area on the side is taken back, and they are able to launch a new invasion. Let's the right color. Let's use one of this. And they're going to be able to launch into the side, taking a lot of this, which leads to basically this entire front line collapsing. just like that. And these guys, they were pretty screwed over, I would say. They thought they were joining the winning side, or I guess they didn't really join the side. They're just at war with Brazil. And it is going to lead to a pushback over here, those troops, to take some effort away from this side. And it does lead to a push back over here. Not very much, because this is the Amazon rainforest. And in fact, this country is basically Amazon rainforest, as well as this country. We're just going to ignore that, you know. I never took that into consideration before, and I'm not going to now. I will say, Season 2 might be coming. Season 1 is just getting kind of tiring. There's not really much left to do after, like, the age of religion, which one I would call this, or the age of ideology, which is what I would say we endured probably about 10-20 years ago. So, yeah. Meanwhile, back down here, Chile is kicking Argentina's butt. Until once Argentina captures all of this up here. Yeah, Uruguay wasn't the strongest of the country. Once that happens, we see Argentina making a quite aggressive pushback to this right here, where this major city is being sieged. Down here, slowly but surely, they're being attacked. And eventually, they make a breakthrough, capturing the major city and bursting through. And their plan is to go this way, cut off all this area, and basically just force the troops back because they're being attacked on all sides. And it goes extremely well, for the most part. They do take a bit of land back, and a little bit land down here. They eventually leave. They eventually surrender down here. All the armies, they're done with. This country is done for. They're going to not surrender over. Instead, they're going to start sending troops over to Uruguay. And the capital does get retaken, this is very strange. Oh, but it actually wasn't them sending troops. It was actually South Africa sending troops all the way across the Atlantic to help Uruguay. And it works a lot. It's very effective. As eventually this major city up here has been captured back, and all our coast is retaken. We gotta replace that capital city. And boom. Over here, it does lead to a pushback as Argentina does have to move some of the troops. And at least that major city right there being captured. And some of that land being taken back. It's pretty stalemated right here. Besides for like this area, this area is one of the biggest war zones currently in the world. Next, we should probably move up onto Europe. This is probably going to be a really long video, because I took so long in that area, and there's like no progress being made. Let's make it quick for you this time. Up here we haven't been seeing much lately, but do note that the purple team has gotten their head in the game, and they are fully sending out this brown team over here, eventually leading to the comeback of the brown team. They're a puppet, basically. So what we're going to do because we're gonna just give them to the purple team. The age of the brown team is long over. They're worthless. The brown team's prime is long gone by now. So, yeah. I kind of screwed up on the provinces, and I just decided to make all of Europe's provinces, basically, a ton smaller. I mean, in some areas they're kind of big, but, yeah, probably wasn't the best idea. So we're gonna keep keeping them off for a long time, probably now. Slowly adjusting to no provinces. Over here, there have been advancements into these areas as the orange team is making a comeback in these countries. And this one right here is slowly getting taken over. Back over, anyway. And the cyan team starts heavily funding some stuff. And you might have been saying, where are the nukes? We haven't seen any nukes all episode. And I'm going to be getting into that right now, as we're going to go back over to the Americas for a short while. And we look at the nukes, and we see the only country with nukes is the USA. And they've decided that they're going to be dropping them. They're going to be dropping 7 of them. And they drop, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then they even drop some down here in the Caribbean. 6, 7. This area right here, it's one of the most important areas in the world. It's very densely populated. Because, as you can see, there is the capital city of Central America, as well as a major city. It's probably one of the most densely populated areas in the Americas, besides for technically Mexico City up here, which also has a major city right by it. But that'll send the U.S. all the way down to 3 nukes, which is not the best for them at all, actually. They're saving these in case a superpower from across the world tries to take hold of this. And the effect is pretty much immediate. A lot of these troops lose morale. And, a lot of this area is taken back. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. As a lot of this area, probably about that much, they basically just give up. So, it's not the best. Even though, like, each of these countries had, like, so the one down here had 3 nukes dropped on it, the one up here had 2. So, not the best. They're kind of in random places. And now there have been a ton of nukes launched on the map, and up here slowly recovering. Meanwhile, the push to take back all of the Canadian Isles is gruesome. They have gained slow progress, but they have taken over all this area, which is definitely an achievement. And over here, they have taken a little bit more back. So, after nukes for the Americas, and now we can see over here, we're going to turn the nukes off, and then we're going to get to the rest of the update here. Of course, we saw down here, it was done for, and up here though, they are actually being pushed back a ton, with a ton of troops. A large influx of troops is being launched right over here, and it's very swift, and it's slowly inching its way toward the capital, and they're going super fast. Like that, and they have taken one major city that got nuked. Eventually, the cyan team decides that they want to meet up with them. So they go And, oh yeah, they're at war with this country, so let's just go and whoop. Oh, they didn't stand a chance. We're gonna leave a little bit of them like that for the peace treaty. Down here, the Spanish team is getting absolutely cooked. They are not the strongest, and they're gonna decide enough is enough. They are going to launch 5 nukes each of these countries, which drops them down to 10 nukes. Okay. Or no, that drops them down to 5 nukes, with the 5 in other countries being gone as they have been used. So they are down to 5 nukes. So 10 nukes have just been launched. Where are they? Oh, these countries are heavily nuked, but... And the first atomic bomb is going to be dropped on the capital city. And it's going to be dropped on the Purple Team's capital city, right outside of it. This is going to be heavily damaged, and the Purple Team troops are going to slowly lose morale. We've seen like 4 nukes being dropped so far, I think. So, 5, 6, and then 3 more are going to be dropped elsewhere. And they're actually going to be dropped all the way down in South America. They kind of signed like they came. They had a base. It was everything launched teams nukes, and there's like 3 nukes left, and they came down like this from these islands and these areas that they just captured, and they launched them. It barely had enough range. They launched them on some of these major cities, as well as this one. Or wait, no, versus their ally. What am I on about? Okay, they launched them on Uruguay. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. So those are the 3 nukes that are dropped. Uruguay, once again, they're gonna get absolutely cooked. Yeah, the bombs was like the last straw for the people. They weren't dealing with it any longer. Now, we should probably look back up. The European front is not going to change at all. They've decided, the Circle Alliance has decided that they're going to focus all of their members up here in Europe, which is going to include these 3 down here, as well as the Green Team and Estonia. And they're all just going to attack. And they're all just going to focus all their power onto these 2 fascist countries. So, that's happening. There's literally no other conflicts happening as this nuclear war is going on. No one wants to get involved in anything. They're too afraid of the nukes. So, there's nothing happening. And Africa, Africa's pretty quiet right now. The Green Team is managing to repel an attack down here. And they did it pretty well. And they are getting new land. And they have decided that they're going to be sending a lot of their troops into the Line Team. As we know, they hate the Line Team. Until they meet up with the border of the Blue Team. Or they decide, we're going to attack the Blue Team. So, the Blue Team is attacked. And using this area, they're going to enter along the Line Team as well. Just like that. Down here, South America is doing very well at repelling the people down here. If we look at the nuke map, the only people with nukes are the Blue Team and the South American team with 79 nukes. They're going to launch a lot of these. And it's very scary. The reason why, I'll tell you in a little bit. But for now, we're just going to say they go down to 64 nukes. Meaning that 15 of the nukes got launched. 15 nukes. It's crazy to think that 50 nukes are being launched in World War III by these guys. And that's just like nothing compared to the USA, who just dropped 2. Something to think about. Anyway, they dropped 4 of these in countries down here. Actually, they dropped 6 of them in countries down here. We can see that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then they drop the rest up here. So that's 9 nukes up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is a lot. That's 12 nukes already. But then, for the first time in forever, the red team gets attacked with 3 nukes. This is going to send the citizens of the red team in an outrage, and they get a ton of morale. And a lot of these troops are being funneled now into Asia. They're going to use going to Asia. We're going to leave South America alone for now. All that really happens is this major city is sieged by the red team. They're not going to take it yet. The South American team, with just launching their nukes, they're going to advance up into Madagascar, as well as use this invasion over here to get some of their lost land back, as well as support it with attacking around it. And launching an attack from this side over here into the purple team. Just like that. And the purple team's offenses over here is very good. They even capture this major city from the back, where they had it being really guarded. Now, like I said, we're going to look back up in Asia, where those troops I was talking about are being funneled through the red team. And this is going surprisingly well. They're just going like straight for it. They had a lot of troops that were being funneled in here, as well as the high morale. And they're very equipped troops, which leads to a full pullback of the militaries down up there to deal with this, as well as some on the border here where this team is, which is their ally. I'm pretty sure. I don't know yeah, their ally. And Asia is very messy. The biggest part of the war is being fought in Asia. The most meaningful part of the war is being fought in Asia. Oceania has a little part to this, and it's all happening in it goes from Central Asia to the Middle East to Southeast Asia. And this has a very big effect. But the economies and the people they used to have a good amount of riches because they were never colonized in real life, but this is slowly dragging their economies down. And this place right here is captured. This country basically just falls over. The rest of it technically will be part of it'll be part of the red team right here. And meanwhile, the march to the capital city of the brown team is going superb. They managed to make it a few more miles, I think, around there. That's going good. The red team and the blue team have become pretty much buddies again. The blue team has attacked that line team right there that was in their way. And they're helping attack the round team. So, it's going very good for them, actually. There is so much over here to talk about. We're mostly going to skip it. We're going to start off up here. We're going to go fast. This farmer country is going to fall over pretty quickly. They're going to slowly be invaded to the north here until the southern parts kind of just whoop. They're going to get stopped around this point. And over here, Korea makes a tiny offensive. The little troops that are stationed over there move a little bit. Down here, Communist China is getting halted back just a little bit. Not much at all. Anywhere. Down here in China, though, they do make a good offensive to push back the Communist Chinese. Down south, though, it's not going too well. They're getting massively attacked. And we're going to have to get to the... No, I have to do... we could probably slow down for the rest of this. We have a few major places that we need to talk about. So I'll show you that now.